I was 6. We were having Sunday dinner and she always used to save the wishbone. So she said, come on, do you want to make a wish? I held the wishbone, my little finger. And she said, right, you've got to make a wish. That afterwards, she said, what did you wish for? And I said, I can't tell you because it won't come true. She said, you can if you whisper. And that was when apparently I said, oh, I'd like to have ballet lessons. My mum, bless her, she'd watch other girls and she noticed that some of the steps I was doing, I wasn't doing them the same as the other girls. And she quickly realised I wasn't being taught correctly. Of course, I didn't want to move because I'd got friends at dance. And I think, you know, your friends at dance are stronger in some ways than your school friends. So I kind of had to start again from scratch. When we went to Birds, we weren't allowed to audition in the first 2 years of the course. So the first thing that I auditioned for was panto, and we had a company that came to Birds to audition for dancers. And that's how I got my equity card, because equity was still a thing then. We had a massive range of teachers, and I've got to be honest and say that I do think there were favourites. I don't think I was one of the favourites, but there were some teachers who would spend time on me and give me those corrections. I'm glad I wasn't one of the favourites because it made me work harder. I took on that first teaching role. I felt very much like I was the student. In many ways, it was because of that. I felt all the time, I've got to do more, I've got to do more, I need to learn more, I need to get better. And I think really that's what made me be more successful. We've got the most fantastic principal. I'm going to name drop Claire Bolivar. She's a complete and utter inspiration, and she takes a real interest in performing arts and music. It's a pleasure to go to work there. There's a lot of younger teachers there. I like helping them and I like supporting them. Still a stress head, Dave. I am. I've calmed down a little bit, you know. I understand the importance of work-life balance, but I see the younger teachers and, you know, they want to do well and they get very stressed out. I feel like if I can just offer a word of encouragement or help them in any way, I do, because that was me once. I don't think people fully appreciate the range of challenges there are in teaching. Students can be challenging, that's one thing, but when you're in an industry that is forever changing, you have to try and keep up with that. We did a trip to see Swan Lake. We're sat back in your seat, you know, and I think by the end of the first act, you were sat right forward in your seat, and I thought, that's it, he's hooked.